Can you hear me, Your Honor?
I can. Good evening. How are you, Doug?
I'm fine. I'm fine. And for some
Good,
reason, I
thanks.
can't get a video, but that's okay. You can
That's
hear my
okay.
voice.
As long as you can hear us.
I can hear you just fine.
Great. Thank you. If we're on the record, we can begin. Good evening. Today is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. It's about 7 p.m. My name is Christine Burke. I'm a public utility law judge with the Maryland Public Service Commission. We're here this evening for a second public comment hearing in case number 9664, which is captioned in the matter of the application of Columbia Gas of Maryland, Inc. for authority to increase rates and charges. We're conducting tonight's hearing via WebEx and live streaming on the Public Utility Law Judge's YouTube channel. On May 14th, 2021, Columbia Gas of Maryland, Inc. filed an application with the Public Service Commission of Maryland for authority to increase its existing base rates for natural gas service. The company has requested an annual base rate increase of $6.1 million for an overall increase of approximately 11%. As part of the application, the company is requesting an overall rate of return of 7.7%. The Maryland's Office of People's Counsel and the staff of the Public Service Commission are parties to this proceeding and present here tonight, as well as counsel for Columbia Gas. The purpose of tonight's hearing is to solicit comments from members of the public. The company was directed to publish notice of this evening's hearing on several print and electronic platforms with instructions on how to participate. Individuals that wish to participate were directed to send email to psc.pulj@gmail.gov. In addition, written comments may be submitted either electronically via the Commission's website at www.psc.state.md.us or by first-class mail through October 22nd of this year. Electronic comments can be submitted via the website, the Public Service Commission website, through the public comments portal, which is located under the tool section about halfway down the page. Written comments may also be sent via regular mail to Andrew Johnson, Executive Secretary, Maryland Public Service Commission, 6 St. Paul Street, 16th floor, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. Please be sure to reference case number 9664 when submitting any comments. We did receive one email request tonight, which will follow after a brief presentation by Columbia Gas. Ms. Moore, will you be presenting for Columbia Gas?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Megan Moore. I am an attorney representing Columbia Gas of Maryland. With me here this evening, I also have Deb Davis from our Universal Services team, and also Russ Bedell from our communications team. Judge Burke talked a bit about what this rate case involves, and I wanted to also just generally talk about what is involved in a rate case. A full base rate case involves a broad review and considers some of the following: costs incurred by utility and whether or to what extent those costs are to be recovered from its customers, how expenses are to be calculated, what expenditures are eligible for recovery as the company's rate base, the rate of return the utility is permitted, the increase in annual revenues that is needed for the company to have a reasonable opportunity to earn its authorized rate of return, and how that increase will be allocated among the utility's various rate classes. So in this current case, Columbia filed in May of 2021 for the recovery of increased capital expenditures, which are costs for installing new facilities used to provide service to the public, as well as to recover increases in operating costs since its most recent rate case in 2020. The Commission granted an increase to Columbia that took effect in December 2020. That increase was the result of a unanimous joint settlement. Since then, increases in operating expenses, such as new employees and increased wages, have resulted in Columbia not being able to earn its authorized rate of return from its last case. So as of July 1st, in this case, Columbia submitted exhibits and testimony in support of a request to annual revenues an increase of annual revenues by approximately $6.1 million to cover increased capital costs and operating expenses. The requested rate changes would result in an approximate 11% increase to an average residential customer's total monthly bill, an 8.22% increase to an average small commercial or industrial customer's bill, and a 6.85% increase to an average large commercial or industrial customer's monthly bill. The Commission's staff and the Office of People's Counsel have each reviewed Columbia's request and submitted testimony that recommended various decreases to Columbia's request. Currently, the parties are still engaged in settlement negotiations, but also preparing for evidentiary hearings that are scheduled to begin next week. We look forward to hearing from the public this evening. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I did receive one request, and I believe that was from Mr. Clayton Marquis. Are you present this evening?
I'm present, Your Honor.
Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Clayton Marquis. I am a resident of Washington County. I have lived here for the past 34 years. And Columbia Gas kind of always tries to increase their rate, and I know that they have to, make their bottom line, because they're trying to, they work for stockholders and investors. Could I ask Miss Megan what's the authorized rate of return that was not achieved this past quarter or annually, and what the rate was? So it was you asked for a certain rate, you didn't achieve that rate. So what was the authorized rate, and then what was the rate that was achieved? Am I allowed to ask that question, Your Honor?
Yeah, if Ms. Moore has it in front of her to answer.
Sure. I can tell you what the authorized rate was from the prior case number 9644, and that was 7.16% rate of return. However, off the top of my head, I cannot tell you what the approximate under-earning percentage. It is available in public testimony, however. If Your Honor would like, I can have that information emailed or sent to Mr. Marquis. Marquis, thank you.
Okay.
And
Well,
is that amount, would that be okay with you, Mr. Marquis?
it would, yes.
Okay. Yes, I'd ask Ms. Moore to
And
do
that would
that.
happen in time to put more comments in than for the public. Would that happen before that deadline has happened?
Written comments can be being accepted through October 22nd, and those can be done either electronically or via first-class mail. Electronically, it's through the Maryland Public Service Commission website, and there's a portal, and it's about halfway down the page, and it'll say public comments. There's a one-time registration to log in, and then you can leave a comment. You'll be able to, from the drop-down menu, to select the case number, which is 9664, and then you'll be able to leave a electronic comment, but you can also send them via first-class mail to the Public Service Commission at 6 St. Paul Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202.
Thank you. I also wanted to comment on the lack of the public attending the previous hearing. The PSC's announcement actually had an email that was not correct to be part of the meeting. So if it's possible, I would like to request a third meeting to happen, because I think the link was sent to people from the PSC to have public comments for the first meeting, but you could not send an email to that email. It was a psc.paulj@maryland.gov, and it's actually a Gmail, not a government email. So I think that's probably the reason there was no participants in the first meeting. I do know that the Columbia Gas does put the announcement in the Herald Mail. I'm trying to work to get those requirements changed, because the Herald Mail is a very outdated way to communicate with the people of Hagerstown, and Facebook and Hagerstown Maryland.org's website will be a much more way to get the word out. it's a little sad to me that Hagerstown, the city of Hagerstown, does not post this on their website. So I'm also going to work with the members of the county, hopefully, to get this more in the public eye. And the main reason I want to comment today is that Columbia Gas is asking for an 11.1% increase for residential customers and an 8% increase for commercial customers. I think in the past, typically the residential rate increase is always more than the commercial rate. And I think right now, as everyone is very well aware, we're in a global pandemic with the coronavirus. It has affected billions of people worldwide, and a lot of people have jobs were affected. They have lost wages, lost income. Many different social programs have been implemented on the state and federal levels to, give money for people's utilities and rent. And I think that if it is increased by the full 11%, I think it's almost more like government subsidy, because a lot of people will not be able to afford these new rates, and they will have to go to the CAC, the Community Action Council, different programs they have that the government subsidizes and helps people with, paying for their gas bill when they cannot pay for it. So I'm here to appeal to the PSC and ask for I would like the rate not to be increased at all. I know that Columbia Gas has to make money for their stockholders, but in a time where Hagerstown is suffering extremely. I'm a landlord in Hagerstown, and I see what people are doing and having to do to make ends meet in this pandemic. And I think if their gas bills are increased by 11%, it's going to, I don't want to say take food off their table, but they're going to have to find other means to be able to feed their families and to get hygiene products and everything like that. People are struggling out here in Western Maryland. We're the 23rd poorest county in Maryland. There's 25 counties, and we're the 21st out of 25. And an 11% rate increase, it's a lot to swallow for the residents and the businesses of Hagerstown. I mean, there have been many businesses in Hagerstown that have closed their doors and will never reopen because the pandemic affected them so greatly. And a lot of it had to do with fiscally, they couldn't afford to keep their doors open. And I think heat is, everyone deserves to have heat and use their gas cooktops. And I do understand that Columbia Gas has made many improvements to their pipelines, and they have a lot of different things they have to pay for as a utility company. But I also would like to bring up to light, if you have Columbia Gas as a customer, as a residential customer, and you don't use 1 unit of gas for an entire period, your gas bill is still approximately, like, I think $18 to $21. And I know that's called the access fee. You could have used your gas. You're getting charged for like having to access it. But when you are paying for utility and not using one unit of it, you still have to pay a fee. So I also would like to know if the 11% increase, if it is more of just a rate increase on the gas itself, or if it's additional fees that will need to be paid every single month, regardless of how much gas is used. I have one of my gas, I think I have three gas meters. One of my gas meters, it only operates a stove, does not operate anything else, doesn't have any heat or anything. And every month, I think I pay, $27, and only about $6 of that is gas. And the rest, $21, is just an access fee. I also sometimes renovate homes, and I often put gas meters in houses. And I do think if Columbia Gas continues to increase their rates, gas will no longer be competitive. People put gas in houses because it's a quality heat and it's inexpensive. And if Columbia Gas continues to raise them, I don't think that people who are doing developers and people who are redoing their houses, I don't think they're going to want to have gas anymore, because it's going to go back to oil or electric. Because if it steadily increases by 11% over the next course of 5 years, gas is not going to be competitive. People will not be putting it in. I think that in the end, it will kind of hurt the whole economy, in my opinion. I know that Columbia Gas is here to make money, and it has shareholders to answer to. And that's why we're here today. But I'm just here to tell the PSC, tell everyone here who is listening, that Hagerstown is suffering right now financially terribly. And a lot of people have gas here. I do not know the number of gas meters in Washington County, but it's going to be, I think she's at a $6 million increase. And it's just, the people here cannot afford it. I mean, I've seen so many people have to ask for help from the PSC and I'm sorry, from the CAC and different social programs because they can't afford their gas bills. They can't afford their rent. They have to go to the food banks for food. And I know Maryland is a very big state and it has a very diverse population. And, you know, Montgomery County and around Annapolis and then certain parts of Baltimore, it's very, there are some very wealthy areas and there are some very poor areas. And Hagerstown is one of those poor areas. We are having a lot of development in the, you know, Amazon has put some warehouses here and I'm hoping that the unemployment rate will go less than 5%. I think it's 5.5% as of July 2021. I'm hoping that those new businesses really will, you know, allow people jobs that they can get, but there are jobs available, but some people can't drive. Some people here do not drive and they cannot get jobs that they can walk to. And I just want the PSC to consider all the residents of Washington County and what this rate increase will actually do to our bottom line as the people. And I've been a resident here for 34 years. I love living here. And I just don't think during a global pandemic, an 11.1 rate increase on the residents is just or fair. And I also, I don't know why I don't understand this, but it surprises me that the rate increase is higher on the residents than on the businesses. To me, it seems like you would have the businesses increase before the residents, but maybe shed some light on that. I'm not really familiar why that is the case, but that I think that is most of my comments for today. And I appreciate everyone who listened. And Your Honor, thank you for giving me the floor and allowing me to speak my 2 cents.
Thank you, Mr. Marquis. I appreciate it. I don't believe that there is anyone else on the call this evening. Again, if anyone does wish to make comments, they will be accepted through October 22nd, 2021. They can be made via electronically to the Commission's website at www.psc.state.md.us or can be sent via regular mail to Andrew Johnson, the Executive Secretary of the Maryland Public Service Commission, 6 St. Paul Street, 16th floor, Baltimore, Maryland, 21202. We are scheduled to begin evidentiary hearings in this case Monday, September the 13th. All of the testimony and exhibits by all parties is filed publicly also on the Commission's website and can be viewed there. I appreciate everybody's participation this evening. And if there is nothing further, we can conclude the hearing. Does anybody have anything further? Hearing nothing.
May the company, would you please send the email address?
Certainly will.
Of Mr. Marquis? Okay, thank you.
Certainly will. And Mr. Marquis, you can look for that response. I'm sure they'll get that to you promptly. Thank you. We can go off the record, sir. Mr. Court Reporter. Thank you.
We're off the record, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.